So, good evening everyone. For today, we will be talking about market integration, on what is its definition and what are the kinds of market integration. But before anything else, let me first introduce myself. My name is Nino Molihon Botasla, and allow me to introduce my group mates, Marvin Bragat and Gracelyn Briones. So without further ado, let us start. So what is market integration? Market integration shows the relationship of the firm in a market. The extent of integration influences the conduct of the firms and consequently their marketing efficiency. The behavior of a highly integrated market is different from that of a disintegrated market. Markets differ in the extent of integration, and therefore there is a variation in their degree of efficiency. So when we say market integration, so this is the union or the relationship of the firms or companies within a particular market. And this influences the conduct of the firms and also the marketing efficiency. So there's a big difference between a highly integrated market and of a disintegrated market. So when we say disintegrated market, then there's no unity and there's no relationship among establishments within a particular market. So if there's no unity, then probably competition will arises and probably would lead into chaos. And when we say highly integrated market, then there's a unity between establishments, and establishments are well organized within a particular market. So, for example, I can say that the meat shop here in Tuburan is highly integrated. Why? Because in each establishment or in each meat shop, they have the same price for pork meat. So they have about 260 per kilo. So they have the same price for pork meat. So this means that they have conversation with one another or with each establishments to set a price for the pork meat. So meaning they are highly integrated because they have unity and they are well organized. So Coles and all have defined market integration as a process which refers to the expansion of firms by consolidating additional marketing function and activities under a single management. Examples of market integration are the establishment of wholesaling facilities by food retailers and the setting up of another plant by a milk processor. In each case, there is a concentration of decision-making in the hands of a single management. So Coles and all defined market integration as process of expansion and addition and adding of marketing function and activities under a single management. So an example of this is the Pacifica Agravit and the Mercury Drug Store. So they have both operate here in Tuburan. So they sell different products. Pacifica sell Agravit supplies like feeds, antibiotics for animals, and etc. And then the Mercury Drug Store sells medicines for humans. So they have different um, products. They sell different products, but they are of the same or they are in a single management. So that's what Coles and all mean of market integration. So, there are three basic kinds of market integration: the horizontal integration, vertical integration, and conglomeration. So what is a horizontal integration? Horizontal integration occurs when a firm or agency gains control of the others, or of the other firms or agencies performing similar marketing function at the same level in the marketing sequence. In this type of integration, some marketing agencies combine to form a union with a view to reducing their effective number and the extent of actual competition in the market. It is advantageous for the members who join the group which performs the horizontal integration. So, when we say horizontal integration, so uh, there's a company or agency that gains control over the other. So, an example of this is the Jollibee, the Chowking, and the Mang Inasal. So, sa una, ang Jollibee, ang Chowking, and Mang Inasal kay lahi-lahi og owner. Lain-lain sila tag-iya. But, nowadays, ang Mang Inasal and ang Chowking uh, is napalit na sa Jollibee, or usa na og tag-iya, or usa na ang management sa Jollibee, sa Chowking, and the Mang Inasal. So the Jollibee gains control over the Mang Inasal and the Chowking. So mahibong ka nganong wala na lang tangtanga sa Jollibee ang Mang Inasal ug ang Chowking, unya padak-o na lang ang Jollibee, or mas padak-an pa ang Jollibee. So the purpose nganong wala tangtanga sa Jollibee ang Mang Inasal ug ang Chowking, bisan pa og under na siya sa Jollibee, because dili tanang tao pirmi ganahan sa Jollibee. So nay uban nga mapulan lang o mapulan og kinaon sa Jollibee. So nay uban nga mas mo-prefer sa Mang Inasal. So mao na nga Mang Inasal or Chowking. So mao na nga wala gitangtang sa Jollibee ang Mang Inasal o Chowking, para if mapulan ang mga tao og kaon sa Jollibee, then na sila'y kapilian. So negosyo ra gyapon ang gibuhat sa Jollibee, because if iyatangtangon ang Mang Inasal or Chowking, then ang tao napulan na og kaon sa Jollibee, then ang tao is mopalit sa lain. So if naa ang Chowking o Mang Inasal, then there's a possibility nga if di mo kaon ang tao dito sa Jollibee, then adto sila sa Mang Inasal. So ang kwarta is adto ra gyapon padung sa Jollibee. So mao nang dili gyapon tangtangon sa Jollibee ang Mang Inasal ug Chowking, bisan pa og under control na sa Jollibee ang Mang Inasal ug Chowking. So in this type of integration, some marketing agencies combine to form a union with a view to reducing their effective number and extent of actual competition in the market. So sama pareha sa gibuhat sa Jollibee nga iyahang control, or yang gi-gain ang control sa Chowking o sa Mang Inasal, para ma-less or ma-reduce ang competition. So wala na kay ka-compete ang Jollibee, kay napalit naman niya ang, or na-obtain na niya, na-gain na niya control sa KFC o KFC, sa Chowking and Mang Inasal. So parent agribusiness firm. So firm A, firm B, firm C, and firm D. So parehas akong gi-example ganiha. For example, ang firm A. Firm A is Jollibee, firm B is Mang Inasal, C is Chowking, and D is wala lang. So these firms are under the parent agribusiness firm. So ang Jollibee, Chowking ug ang Mang Inasal is under are under the Jollibee Food Corporation. So silbi ang Jollibee Food Corporation maoy umbrella or maoy management yun sa tanan sa Jollibee, sa Mang Inasal ug sa Chowking. In most markets, there is a large number of agencies which do not effectively compete with each other. This is indicative of some element of horizontal integration. It leads to reduced cost of marketing and this reduced competition possible. So there are a lot of markets that perform or doesn't compete. So if di sila mag-compete, then there's or makita nato ang element sa horizontal integration. So if there's horizontal integration, then ma-reduce ang competition and also ma-reduce ang cost sa marketing. So the effects of horizontal integration. So buying out a competitor in a time-bound way to reduce competition. So just like sa gibuhat sa Jollibee nga iyahang palit ang Mang Inasal ug Chowking para ma-reduce ang iyang competition or makuhaan ang iyang ka-compete. But buying a competitor is hard. So dako-dako gina siyang labangonon or latasunon. So gaining larger share of the market and higher profits. So just like sa akong explain ganiha nga if sa ka-market na ay Jollibee, Chowking o Mang Inasal, so if ang tao di mo if napula nagkaon sa for example sa Mang Inasal, then if adto siya mo kaon sa Chowking, then ang kwarta or ang halin ari ra gyapon padung sa Jollibee. So mo nang gain larger share of the market and higher profits. Attaining economies of scale, a proportionate saving in cost gained by an increased level of production, specializing in the trade. So here are some of the advantages of horizontal integration. First is lower costs, higher efficiency, increased product differentiation. So increased product differentiation like sa KFC, Chowking, Mang Inasal og sa Jollibee, then so lahi sila product, pulo sila pagkaon pero lain sila og pagkaluto ba yana. So sa kani sa pagka-differ nila sa pagkaluto is maka kwarta gyapon sila ani kay if ang tao di ganahan og for example di ganahan og Chicken Joy, so pwede sila moadto sa Chinese style nga pagkaluto sa Chowking or adto ba sa Mang Inasal. And then increase market power. So if napalit na for example napalit sa Jollibee ang Mang Inasal og sa ang Chowking, so mas ni-increase ang iyahang power or market power. Reduced competition. So more gyapon if napalit sa Jollibee ang Mang Inasal ug ang Chowking, then makuhaan ang iyang competition kay ang Mang Inasal ug ang Chowking is under its management. Then access to new markets, economics of scale, economics of scope, a proportionate saving gained by producing two or more distinct goods when the cost of doing is so less than that of producing each separately. Lastly, international trade. So nowadays Jollibee mas murag nagplano na sila nga mo tukod og mga branch abroad. So mo na say advantage pud sa horizontal integration. So the disadvantages of horizontal integration are destroyed value, legal repercussions, unintended consequence of an event or action, reduced flexibility. So that's all about the definition of market integration and horizontal integration. So now Let us proceed to the next reporter with that reports about the vertical integration.
So next is the vertical integration. What is vertical integration? So vertical integration, this occurs when a firm performs more than one activity in the sequence of the marketing process. It is the linking together of two or more functions in the marketing process within a single firm or under a single ownership. This type of integration makes it possible to exercise control over both quality and quantity of the product from the beginning of the production process until the product is ready for the consumer. It reduces the number of middlemen in the marketing channel. Arrangement of vertical integration, as we can see in the figure. So, parent agribusiness firm, wholesaling of feed mill, transport agency, and food grains trade. So, naitulo ka type sa vertical integration. A is the forward integration. If a firm assumes another function of marketing which is closer to the consumption function, it is a case of forward integration. Example, wholesaler assuming the function of retailing. Second, or B, is backward integration. This involves ownership or a combination of sources of supply. Example, when a processing firm assumes the function of assembling or purchasing the produce from the villages. And the third one, balanced vertical integration. The third type of vertical integration is a combination of backward and the forward vertical integration. So what are the advantages of vertical integration? So as we can see here, we have 7 advantages of vertical integration. Number 1 is it allows to invest in assets that are highly specialized. Number 2, it gives more control over business. Number 3, it allows positive differentiation. 4, it requires lower cost of transaction. 5, it offers more cost control. Number 6, it ensures a high level of certainty when it comes to quality. And lastly, it provides more competitive advantage. So kung naay advantage, nasa disadvantage. So what are the disadvantage of vertical integration? Number 1, capacity balancing problems bring about more difficulties, results in decreased flexibility, create more barriers to market entry, cause confusion within the business, requires a huge amount of money. Effects of vertical integration: more profits by taking up additional functions, risk reduction through improved markets, so ordination improvement in bargaining power and the prospect of influencing prices, lowering costs through achieving operational efficiency.
So I am Gracelyn Briones and I will be discussing the last type. So the last type is the conglomeration. When we say conglomeration, it is a combination of agencies or activities not directly related to each other, may when it operates under a unified management be termed a conglomeration. Example for conglomeration is the SM of Henry C. SM Group of Companies and also the Lushotan before he is the owner of PNB or the Philippine National Bank and of UA or the University of the East and also the PAL, Philippine Airlines. They are all example for conglomeration. And we have here agribusiness conglomerates, food chains, fruit processing, fruit retail chain. There's also cloth mill, may not be related, but also we have here sales of repairs and electronic goods and manufacturing of banaspati. Next, here are some examples of conglomeration. They're more on Indians, but as I said in the Philippines, it's the Lushotans and the Henry C's. Next, here are the effects of conglomeration. First, the risk reduction through diversification. Second, acquisition of financial leverage. For example, If it's when a company go bankruptcy, the other company can save it since they are related or they are the same management. And lastly, the empire building urge. Next, we have here the reasons for market integrations. Reasons for market integration is to remove transaction cost, foster competition, provide better signals for optimal generation and consumption decisions, improve security of supplies. Market integration exists there, of course, to secure the supply. So degree, it could be owner and could be contract. Owner, for example, in the case of Jollibee. And when we say contract, they merge together, although they have different owners, but they share shares to make each other grow. And that would be all, and I hope you learned something from our topic, which is the market integration. Adios.